There is nowhere dry to go. For most of human history, a month of rain wasn't an inconvenience. It was a crisis with no ceiling. There was no roof that didn't eventually leak, no fire that didn't eventually die, no floor that didn't eventually flood. Frank Marlowe's research on the Hadza found that the wet season was measurably harder to survive than the dry season. Not because there was less food, but because almost everything about daily life got more dangerous.
The first problem wasn't hunger. It was mosquitoes. Standing water is where they breed, and standing water is what a month of rain leaves behind. Marlowe's data on the Hadza recorded a measurable spike in malaria specifically tied to the wet season, the same season researchers once assumed would be the easy one since food was suddenly everywhere. Because that was the strange part. Food actually got easier to find. Tubers swelled with water, greens grew fast, berries came in early. A month of rain didn't starve people. Deprivation wasn't the threat here at all. The rain didn't take away the food. It took away almost everything else. Hunting nearly stopped, not because animals hid, but because the entire method depended on tracking, and tracks dissolve within minutes in standing rain. Elizabeth Marshall Thomas, who lived among the Juhuansi sand for years, described entire hunting parties simply staying in camp for days at a time, waiting.
When the ground itself won't hold a footprint, there is no hunt to track. Shelter mattered more than almost anything else in the ancient world. Archaeological layers at sites like Sibudu Cave in South Africa show repeated, dense human occupation, specifically during and after major wet periods. Clear evidence that rock shelters and caves weren't a backup plan. They were the plan. A roof wasn't a comfort. A roof was survival equipment. Groups also didn't face a month of rain alone. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner's decades of research into the Nkung San's Hasaro exchange system found something remarkable. An entire system of gift-giving built specifically so that during hard stretches like a flooded, foodless month, someone else's stored surplus became yours. It wasn't charity. It was insurance built generations in advance. Nobody survived a month of rain alone. That was never the plan. Fire became the scarcest resource of all. Keeping a flame alive through weeks of dampness took constant tending. Dry tinder had to be protected obsessively, often kept wrapped inside shelters or under hides, specifically so it would survive the wet season. Losing a group's fire during a month-long rain wasn't a small setback. Every task, from cooking to warmth to keeping insects away, depended on it. A dead fire in a month of rain was a group-wide emergency.
And when the rain didn't stop, when a month became 6 weeks, became 2 months, groups simply moved. Marlowe's Hadza data shows dramatically increased mobility and dispersal during long wet periods, breaking into smaller family units and spreading across the landscape instead of clustering, following whichever patch of ground stayed driest and highest. There was no waiting it out in place. You followed the dry ground or you didn't survive the season. Here's the uncomfortable part. Every instinct you have during a long stretch of bad weather, the restlessness, the urge to check on people, the impulse to stock up on food and supplies just in case, isn't a personality quirk. It's leftover survival wiring from tens of thousands of years where a month of rain was genuinely one of the more dangerous stretches of the year. We didn't invent worrying about the weather. Our ancestors just had a much better reason to. A month of rain never stopped ancient humans. It just made them move, share, and wait together.